join on Zoom. I'm actually going to give you that link. Let me make sure that I'm live in the group. Yes. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that link here so you can join me on Zoom for those that have registered. You have been sent a workbook. So I love handouts. I love giving you and gifting you that information. So if you do not have that information, comment handout below and I will get you that. So it is a masterclass handout that is full of goodies and information about losing fat, healing your hormones, healing your gut, and just completely feeling amazing while we reduce inflammation. Let me send this invite over to you all. And I know some of you are at work and planning on watching the replay, which is awesome. And at the time, you can just comment hashtag replay and let me know that you are watching. And then I can also get you the handout when it's time for you. All right, so the link is there. Everyone. All right. Okay, so this class is dedicated to really the new year, okay? The new year of just resetting yourself, feeling amazing, reducing inflammation. It's so easy this time of year to just completely overindulge or even just change the way that you're eating and eat foods that are higher in sugar, higher in alcohol, and they're going to convert to sugar and then head into the new year just feeling crazy because your blood sugar is out of balance, your hormones are off, your sleep is off. And let me just say that this can be an extremely stressful time of year to where it is hard for you to feel like you're in balance at all. So what I wanted to do is to talk today to start preparing you for 2026. It is right around the corner, right? So preparing for 2026 and getting the information now to get started on that journey. So what I want to talk to you today is about the connection between inflammation, gut health, and weight loss. And for those of you that don't know me, I love working with autoimmune conditions where inflammation is at the core of what's going on in our body. I love working with females and their hormones, and I love gut health. But one thing that I see all the time is the transformation in my clients, the reduction in inflammation. Sometimes the scales move, but sometimes when we see the muscle forming, right? We're starting an exercise routine. We feel good. So we're starting an overall health and wellness plan. We don't always see the scales move. And that's one thing I want to warn people about and warn you as to where you are. Maybe you feel like you're hitting the gym every day, but the scales aren't moving. And one thing that I would ask you is, do you feel different? Do you feel better? Do you feel your clothes fit different? How are you sleeping better? Like, look at that overall plan, because the overall wellness journey is what you need to focus on. That connection between inflammation, gut health, and weight loss or weight adjustments are so important. The other thing that I want to talk about in this masterclass is actionable steps to reduce inflammation and reset your body. A holistic reset is needed so you feel lighter, you feel energetic, you feel revived, you feel revamped, and you can move into the new year knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I also want to tell you why food testing is so important, right? And candida. Food testing for food and candida is essential. I just had a client reach out to me who has only been in the program. We're going on month two, and she sent me her transformation pictures. I will post them. She sent me her transformation pictures, and holy cow, It is unbelievable. She just went to a Christmas party in a dress she never thought she would get into. And we're not even 2 months into our program. And it's because her body was not absorbing nutrients. Her body instead was holding on to all the inflammation and it was being triggered with inflammatory reactions. She felt horrible. She wasn't sleeping good. Her hormones are out of balance. And we have had to move the needle to where she gets fast success. And that's what I want us to tell you is this class, this reset that I'm offering in January again this year. Last year, I offered it 3 times. I think it was January, March, and May. And the transformation was crazy. Crazy in women losing 10 pounds in 4 weeks. And I'm still getting messages from them as to how their success has all continued and how they've continued to lose weight, how they continue to feel better, how they continue to hit the gym, continue to sleep better. But you can't do it when you feel horrible. Okay. I've used this analogy before, and I'm going to use it again. If you have a child who's always grumpy, a husband that's coming home from work grumpy, and they're constantly nagging, nag, 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 right? The first time they come home from work or come in from school, you're like, wow, that was interesting. Okay. That was, sorry you had a bad day, but, and then you just kind of set up those boundaries. You set the filter, you say a deep breath. You're like, I can't do this today. But the second day it happens again, and maybe there's less tolerance. And then the third day, there's even less. Okay. And that is how your body is when you're eating foods that you should not eat. So I've had clients with Sjogren's disease and autoimmune conditions, and they are growing they're growing their own garden. So they have this organic, these organic foods and this organic nutrition that they're like, how could I be not doing well? Well, they have histamine intolerance. The histamine is causing the pain. It's causing debilitating pain. Their neck, their shoulders, they're tense, they're stressed. That histamine is not helping. So we remove the tomatoes, the peppers, all the things growing from the garden that they're thinking, oh, I'm doing so good. Reset the immune system, reset the gut, remove that the histamine intolerance by detoxing and decreasing that load on the body, and then they are able to move the needle and see success. Okay, they're able to bring those foods back in moderation and eat them. Okay, most weight loss strategies do fail. Why do they fail? Because fad diets often focus on restriction, and we do not want to focus on restriction. Instead, we need to focus on nourishment, how we can focus on nutrient deficiencies, those triggers and sensitivities, and then focus on how we can heal that gut and remove those toxicities. I call this the DTS model, DTS framework. You will see that over and over in my social media, in my discussions, because we look at deficiencies, toxicities, and sensitivities, and we get huge success. When your body is fighting inflammation, that chronic inflammation blocks fat loss and causes you to bloat. So not only are you holding on to fat, you're having that bloated feeling because you have something constantly triggering that inflammation. So one question I have for you, if you're listening and if you're watching, is does inflammation affect your metabolism and your hormones? I've talked about how it affects your fat loss. Do you feel that inflammation affects your metabolism and hormones? Put that in the chat for me if you're watching right now. Put it in the chat for me if you're watching the replay. How do you feel inflammation is affecting your metabolism and your hormones? Okay, it does. Inflammation around the cell prevents your hormones from being able to come in and absorb. So it literally pings off. It doesn't matter if it's insulin, thyroid, and all your sex hormones. Okay, your cortisol is out of whack. Everything's array. You can't hit, and that's with the stresses of the holiday season. Watch your cortisol, watch your sleep, watch the way you allow your body to respond to stress. It is a decision, and when I say allow, yes, I mean allow. Set some boundaries around what you do and how you allow that inflammation to affect your hormones and affect your fat loss, affect your weight, affect you all the way around all throughout your body. So, gut inflammation and weight loss connection. I can never have a call, you know me, without talking about gut health. And an unhealthy gut leads to bloating, fatigue, and cravings. Okay, I mentioned candida earlier. And if you have the workbook and you're following along, I'm simply going through the notes so you can follow along there. Signs of candida overgrowth are sugar cravings, digestive discomfort, and constant and persistent fatigue. That was one thing that this client who's had this transformation going, she said, I no longer crave sugar nor alcohol. We get into society and it's like a glass of wine a night and it's social this and social that. But what is it doing to your blood sugar? What is it doing to your hormone? Does it affect the way you sleep that night? Most of the times, yes. And it keeps you craving that sugar. So you have to create balance. You have to say, what is the success that I'm looking for? And for her, she's like, I'm loving this. Like not feeling any dependency to sugar, and not that there was a hard dependency to alcohol, but you know what I mean? Like feeling like you just need something else to help you unwind. Okay, so one thing on healing the gut is incorporating gut healing foods like fermented vegetables and bone broth is a very common recommendation. If you look at social media over the last 5 years, it talks about waking up and having sauerkraut, your kombucha, your probiotics. That can be disrupting your gut health depending on where your gut health is. Is it stable? Is it not stable? The candida can be a negative bacteria, and when you're feeding the good and the bad, then you're disrupting the gut bacteria. It's not always good. Those foods are also very high in histamine. So this client that I was talking about before would not have been in a successful situation had we been increasing these histamine foods and these supposedly gut healing foods. You need to find out from a personalized standpoint what kind of food is going to personally move your needle forward. What kind of food is going to give you the success that you're looking for? And back to sugar, because sugar is going to disrupt the blood sugar, but it's also going to feed that negative gut bacteria. It's going to keep that gut health in a negative spiral spin. So personalization is so important. Foods like spinach and avocados, they can be triggering. They can be triggering inflammation. They can be triggering your histamine imbalance, your chronic pain. And I just had a client sign who is a very, very young adult in their 20s and they were diagnosed with arthritis already. Now, one thing that I love about it is the doctors are so smart and they're already like saying, hey, you have reactive arthritis. Okay. And I love the term that they're using, reactive, because it's making your brain, your human brain, say, oh, wow, reactive to what? Okay. Histamines can be a reaction that's causing inflammation and pain. In this situation, it was a virus, it was a bacterial infection. I've had a virus as well, but this one was a bacterial infection that has triggered the immune system, and the doctor's calling it reactive arthritis. Well, let me tell you, you can go and reverse that immune reaction and reverse the reactivity and take care of your arthritis. All right, your body may have an underlying autoimmune condition, but run with it, fix it. Don't let that take control of what's going on in your body. Because spinach and avocado can trigger that inflammation for histamine sensitive individuals, and you need to know how you fit into this overall picture. Personalized testing is so helpful to identify those triggers and to identify whether candida is causing uniquenesses in your body as to whether your body can absorb minerals. Are your minerals out of balance? is if your absorption is low, then you can be chronically dehydrated. You can be chronically low. I have people all the time, I'm so low in vitamin D and it doesn't matter what I take. Same thing with vitamin B. I'm like, your absorption is off, right? Something is blocking absorption in your body and you're not getting the benefits of the nutrition that you're eating nor taking. Some supplements can have negative side effects. Be careful with that. So if you have your workbook in your handout, the answer is true on this question of yes, histamine intolerance can mimic food sensitivities. Okay, it can mimic those because those foods that you think are healthy are causing inflammation in your body and causing stress on your system and causing that immune system to be overreactive. One thing that we hear a lot is a term called adrenal fatigue. Okay, and we know, we've heard it enough now that we know that with adrenal fatigue, that the adrenals are exhausted. Okay, we can call it immune fatigue. Okay, the immune system is exhausted from being triggered by something. Okay, you need to identify what that is. All right, so let's talk about ways that you can, in a healthy way, reduce inflammation. So 3 things that you can do. You can detox and cleanse, right? We hear about detoxes all the time, cleansing, but what does that look like for you? If those foods are inflammatory to you, then you can't use those healthy foods on your detox plan. You need that personalized plan. You can detox and cleanse by eliminating sugar and processed foods today, though. Okay, so that's one tip that I can leave you with. Now you're saying I'm going into the holidays. I know you are, okay, but we're preparing for the new year. We're preparing for 2026, and you also need to make some conscious decisions around moderation, even though it is the holiday, because I know you want to show up on your best when it's Christmas morning and you're celebrating with your kids. I know you want to show up and be your best when you go to that family get together. You don't want to be battling hormonal shifts, blood sugar swifts, mood swings when you walk into that family get together, because there's enough stress there already, right? So the second thing you can do on top of detoxing and cleansing is heal your gut with nutrient dense and anti-inflammatory foods. Now, you know from the discussion I've already had is that may look different for you than it is the other person on this call. It may look different than it does for your next door neighbor. And it may look different for you than it does your husband and spouse. Now, when I work with a husband and spouse and those couples, we mirror and we kind of overlap what their reactions are, and we build plans for the house, okay, for your home. That is where there's so much fun, okay, because there usually is a little bit of overlap. And then there's some differences. So when you go out to eat, you can eat to your own plan. And then when you're at home, this is what we need to do. But that right there builds long-term habits to have some limitations, but also some liberties, and have that moderation without other restriction. So you can build those long-term habits for success and consistency. And what I'm doing is just going through the workbook so I can stay along with you. Okay. It is so important to have a testing first mentality. I love coming in and doing testing. The reason is I don't guess. I don't have this crystal ball. I'm not going to be your doctor and be like, well, this may be what's going on. Can we try this medication? That's not what I'm about. I don't even love a lot of supplements myself. So I'm going to use what supplements we need in a phased approach to heal your body. Now, working with one-on-one clients and working with them, I usually do this in a 90-day program. And that 90-day program, as I told you, I see weight loss as the first thing. So what I've done is I have taken that program down to where we're focusing on the testing and this action steps, those protocols that get them that fast success, get them the weight loss, get them to feel better, get them to sleep better, get them to know what to eat. And I have reduced it down for you. So I have a 4-week reset starting on January the 12th. This is the first masterclass that I'm going to do for that. We'll have another one in January. So if you're watching the replay and you're like, oh, I have questions, I wish I was live, join us in January. I want you to be ready in January to take action. That's why I'm not waiting. And let me see. Y'all said I was frozen. Okay, I think I'm back. All right, awesome. Sorry if I froze for long. So I didn't see it freeze on this end, so hopefully it caught up really, really quick. So what I want you to do is be ready to take action in January. So we will have another workshop on January the 7th, and then January the 12th, we will be ready to go. This 4-week reset is a group program. I am going to put you, it will not happen in this group. So I do need to warn everybody in this group that the next masterclass, I will be live streaming into this group. This is an open group, private open group for us to all learn together. However, this group program is in a separate group. We are going to have a group program. We're going to have meal plans. We're going to have lifestyle strategies, the support, weekly live coaching, weekly Q&A sessions, weekly implementation, and meal plans. Like I said, it is so good. I don't love focusing on weight loss because it has to be a bigger picture. Like I want you to be looking at what am I eating? How am I sleeping? How are my hormones? Like really looking at the accountability that can get you long-term success, because there is nothing worse than losing that weight and then having a rebound effect, right? And that rebound effect coming in and going, oh my God, I just wasted all that time. That's not what I'm about. I want to give you the education, the accountability, and the immediate weight loss and anti-inflammatory and gut health results that will take you long-term. The other thing that you're going to get during this 4-week reset is supplement protocols to address that inflammation. Maybe you're thinking, okay, I feel like I'm eating right, but I don't know if I have candida. I don't know what my inflammation looks like. Those supplement protocols to address the inflammation, the gut health, the cortisol, the blood sugar swings, everything you need to support your hormones and your weight loss are also going to be included in this reset. We go through them, like I mentioned, every single week. So there's actionable steps. And there's 2 tiers to the program. The low tier is not going to include testing, but you will be eligible. You will be able to come into the group program. You can see what other people's tests look like. You can hear their questions. We'll be going through over like general blood work analysis. You'll still be getting the education. You'll still be getting the protocols. That low tier program, I have had women super successful with it. They still question, am I doing everything right? Because the higher tier program does include the testing. But guys, it's like at 50% of our normal testing price. So it is amazing. It's an amazing opportunity for you to come in. Instead of a 90-day commitment, you have a 4-week commitment, but you get like every single week built results, built protocols, built meal plans. So if you're interested, I would love for you to comment reset below and I will get you that information. So there's been a few actionable steps from this masterclass that I want to review in case you joined late. In case you're watching the replay and multitasking, pause for just a second. First of all, I want you to say hello. I love to know who's here. Let me know who's watching live. Let me know who's watching the replay. Second, if you don't have the workbook, I want you to comment workbook below or handout, either one. I don't know which one I said before, so I'm just going to tell you workbook or handout. And then if you want information on the, I can see I'm frozen again. Hold on one second. Trying to watch that now. If you want information on the reset, in order to be able to join us with testing or without testing, comment reset below and I will send you information on both of those options. So I'm just super excited to have you here. I'm super excited that you were able to join me. Let's see if the connection got lost. Sorry, I'm just going to make sure that I'm still live. And if it was, I will comment everything below. And if it was too bad, then what I'll do is I'll just post the recording of this into the group so you can have everything without all the glitches. But anyway, happy Wednesday, happy hump day, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Enjoy the time with your family. Please go ahead and set your goals, though. There is nothing better than just being completely intentional with your thought processes. The reason I did this here in December is because if you know you are taking a personalized health and wellness journey in January, then let the next 2 weeks just be completely joyful. Don't go over the board. Don't go gain 10 pounds in 2 weeks so then you can lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, right? I don't want all that, but I do want you to know you have to live life. There has to be moderation, and I will teach you everything that's needed for you to have that level of consistency every year. Okay. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Get ready to reset your body. This is not a New Year's resolution because they come and go, right? This is a decision to focus on you and make a personalized plan in 2026. That's what I'm here to support you with. That is what I want to be here to watch you succeed with. And comment reset below and I will get you that information. Thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to you soon.